Hi everybody, it's Bob Ewalt, and today I wanted to bring to you some thoughts about a book that I read this week. Basically, I take my kids to the pool and let them play around, and while they're playing, I read a book and try to do some learning. So the book that I read this week was called "The Four Obsessions of an Extraordinary Executive," and there are a couple of things that are just fascinating to me about business, and one of them is how do you create a good culture, a great culture, and how do you create a healthy organization for people to work in and for people to thrive in. So this book was all about that, and so I wanted to bring you the four obsessions and kind of stretch them out a little bit so that we can all kind of learn from them. The first discipline, the first obsession, is to build and maintain a cohesive leadership team. And this the culture starts from the top of an organization. And if you can't have a cohesive leadership team, your company is going to be kind of muddling around in the world of business. So a cohesive executive team is built upon the trust between leaders, and a team a cohesive leadership team that Patrick Lencioni was talking about has passionate meetings. They address difficult questions. They challenge each other, but in the end they come to a quick consensus. They fight amongst each other, but they do it from a place of wanting the best for the organization, for the company. Um, they don't harbor resentments amongst each other. They don't have personal attacks against each other, but they do attack each other's ideas so that the best idea comes out on top. And the way that they build trust with each other is by understanding each other's backgrounds, their personalities, and what drives each other. So they really go deep into one another and they understand each other at a very deep level, um, so that they can understand what drives each other, and so they can have the fights that are productive and get things done. So meetings in this kind of cohesive leadership team are never they're never boring. They're always energetic. There's always a good energetic exchange of ideas when coming to a consensus. So that's the first discipline. The second discipline is creating organizational clarity. And most executives, I think, would say that clarity is important within an organization, but then they often fail to achieve that clarity throughout the business. So this organizational clarity is all about everyone in the organization knowing what the company is about and being able to work toward a common goal. So it starts with asking fundamental questions, and everyone in the organization being able to answer these questions the same way. Why does the organization exist, and what difference do we make in the world? What behavioral values are irreplaceable and fundamental to our organization? What business are we in, and against whom do we compete, and against whom do we not compete? I mean, there's some things that we would say are better not to compete with, if it's not part of our core. What are our goals this month, this quarter, this year, the next 5 years? And then what does each person have to do? Who has to do what in order to achieve the goals this month, this quarter, this year, and the next 5 years? So those are the questions that create that organizational clarity, and those should be communicated from the top and over communicated. And that's actually the next discipline, is to over communicate organizational clarity. So a lot of executives will get tired of communicating the same objectives, the same goals, the same answers to the same questions. But it's really important for um, for the health of an organization to over communicate this organizational clarity. And how do you do that? You do it through repetition, you do it through having simple messages, and you do it through multiple mediums. So you might send out an email, you might send out a voicemail, you might do a video communication, you might post things on the intranet. of your organization. But you need to do it on multiple mediums. You need to have a simple message, and you need to do it over and over and over again. It's said that it takes someone hearing something 6 times for them to internalize it. So you need to communicate the organization's goals and values over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, so that people internalize them and so they can act upon that internalization. All right, so that's discipline 3. And the last discipline is reinforcing organizational clarity through human systems. And there are 4 basic systems, human systems, that need to be reinforced um, with this organizational clarity. And that those are, first, your hiring practices and profiles. Do you have consistent behavioral interview questions that you ask every candidate that applies for a job at your organization? Secondly, performance management. Do you have a consistent performance management process? Do you measure each employee's um, performance against your organization's values and goals? The third thing is rewarding and recognition. Do you reward people based upon your values and your goals? Do you promote them based upon your organization's values and goals? And the fourth human system is dismissal. Do you have a consistent criteria for removing employees from your organization if they don't fit your values or your goals? They're not they're not pulling along with the rest of the organization when it comes to the organization's goals and values. So those are the 4 disciplines, the 4 obsessions of an extraordinary executive. And I just want to bring those to you. I highly commend this book to you if you want to go to Amazon or Barnes and Noble and get a copy. I would highly recommend it for you to read, especially if you're in a leadership role or an executive role. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.